My name is Brew, and I feel like I could give you a 10-minute intro for everything you do. I mean, we got singer, songwriter, actress, producer, probably like an astronaut too.
Oh no, I'm too scared.
Marano. So how you been? How has it been this past like year? I feel like it doesn't even feel like it's been a year, you know? It was like 2019 and now it's 2021. Like what happened? So how's
I
it been for
feel
you?
the exact same way, bro. I literally keep saying last year in reference to 2019, only to
Mm,
realize that last year was not 2019; it was 2020. And I still feel like we're in the beginning of 2021, which is not true. We're like over halfway done with 2021. I
yeah.
don't know. I think for everyone, right? It was like such a blur, and I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to really work on music and really kind of focus on music. I'm usually a little bit like struck between my two worlds of acting and music. And it was almost like the world made the choice for me because I couldn't act like at all in 2020, right? It was just like some productions kind of started near the end of 2020 or in like the middle of 2020, but I was just 100% focused on music, which was kind of like a first for me, and it was really amazing. I was really thankful to be able to do that.
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely. And I think we're the same age. So I feel like we should just write it off. We're not 25. We're like, I want to go
Totally,
back to
totally.
24
Exactly.
because 25 sneaks up on you. I'm like, what? Like that age hit different.
It kind of does, right? Like 25, there's something about it sounds almost silly when you're talking to someone who's older, but you're almost like, oh my God, I'm old. Like I'm not in my early 20s anymore. And there's something that's really frightening about that and kind of intimidating.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's like that for you too, because like I was really, really young coming into radio, so everyone was always like, "Wow, you're so young and you're doing so much." And now it's just like, show up and do your job. You're 25, and like you had so much going on so young, acting since you were like 5. So now it's just like, you know,
100%. Like literally, I worked on a movie actually earlier this year in 2021. Um, and I was not the youngest person on set. There were quite a few crew members, not even cast, crew members who were younger than I am.
it
And I had
hurts.
a little bit of a complex. It kind of hurt. Like, oh, I'm old now, I guess.
No, you know what? Modern science, we're gonna be 100 and just doing the same stuff. We'll be like, 40
Age
is the new
is a
20.
number. Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think there's the weird thing with age, right? Is like you put expectations on yourself. And so you're kind of like, and especially when we live in a world that is so born with comparisons, you're kind of like, oh, someone else did something else at 25 or had done this, this, and this. And I think what I have definitely realized in my old age is
Wisdom.
exactly is that we really all do have a different journey. And there's something that's, I think, really comforting about that no one else's journey is going to be like your own. So every time that I get a little wrapped up of like my expectations of where I thought I was supposed to be and should be and blah, 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 all of that stuff, I'm always like, this is my journey and things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen, you know?
For sure. I mean, I think about that all the time too. Like Jay-Z, I don't think he had a song out till he was like 40 and like billionaire. So that's the goal. We're gonna be billionaires. This is what I get from this.
What, Amazon man.
Amazon man, Jeff Bezos. He's in space right now.
Yes, but he didn't start Amazon until he was like in his 30s or something like that. So it is interesting. It's kind of like
So we should make a company.
life can change. Exactly. I guess is this what we're doing, Brew?
Deal. Partnership. I don't know what we'd sell, but it'd be great. Well, you work so much, and I want to know about like your summer bucket list. Anything that being locked up for so long, is there anything on your list you want to do this summer?
Oh man, that's a great question. And I wish I had a better answer, but I feel like I'm just going to be working during the summer, which I'm not going to lie. I'm a little like, part of me is like, that sounds horrible. I just kind of want to go to Hawaii and go on a beach. But luckily we live in LA. I definitely am going to be making drives to the beach and just have some zen over there. I'm very much definitely a beach girl. But yeah, I'm just actually, you know, promoting this EP and then going straight into writing
Right.
some more music. I feel I'm actually really, I have to say, though part of me is like, oh my God, I need a vacation. The other
Mhm.
part of me is a little bit, I don't know, I'm actually really like excitedly nervous to start writing again because I haven't, a lot of this music, the deluxe EP music, even my first EP, the Me EP, a lot of that music was written around the same time. So I really haven't really been in the studio with other people and co-wrote in a while. So I'm actually really excited to start a new chapter and restart like kind of my writing process.
Yeah, no, I feel it 100%. It's like you're excited to get back to work. Like I've been dying to get back in the studios, like being at home for so long. It's like concerts, everything. It's work, but it's not really, it's what we love to do. So
exactly, right? We're the luckiest people in the world. We have the best jobs in the world. Hard jobs, challenging, but still.
There's challenges, for sure. And you talk about writing music. How much do you have written? Like I ask these artists this all the time, like during quarantine, it was different for everyone. People, they were unblocked and they wrote so much music. And then others were like, I had no inspiration, so I didn't do anything for like a year. How was it for you?
Well, you know what? I was so focused on, I'd already written a lot of this EP. I wrote one song in 2020, but to be honest, it was like early 2020. It was before the pandemic hit. But it was my first song that I ever released that I wrote 100% completely by myself. So that was also like extremely nerve-wracking because I'm like, is everyone going to hate this? Am I horrible? But, I feel like all of 2020, I was really so severely focused on the UEP and like releasing it and the kind of like promotional side rather than the creative side. But I feel currently very, I was going to say very creative, but very ready to create. I have like a lot of different ideas. I definitely have a lot of feelings and thoughts that I'm currently processing, and writing and songwriting is kind of one of the best ways for me personally to process and like really figure out.
Let it out.
Things, that are going on in my brain and heart.
For sure. How much do you have right now? Like if you had in the chamber, you could release, how many songs do you have?
Oh, okay. Well, that's, hundreds, quite literally.
Yeah, it's wild.
But that's not just from like 2020 or recently. That's from a culmination of years. Mm-hmm. And some songs are horrific and some songs are great. Some songs I'm so proud of, but I just feel like don't really represent me as an artist anymore, or like is about a time that I don't really resonate with. But yeah, so many, but ideas that I'm really excited to take into the studio. I also have a lot right now. I just feel like every single day, I don't know if it's because I know I'm writing, if I'm going through stuff, but every day I'm kind of like, a few different times, I'm like, oh, that would be a great idea. Let me get my iPad or write.
Get the notes app.
Totally, or voice memo.
memo.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been kind of fun. I actually feel like I'm going to be overwhelmed going to the studio of like figuring out which idea I want to work on first.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Again, it feels like a good problem, more the better. And you always have feelings. So like, I don't think you'll ever run out of ideas for it. And you talk about jumping into like a new era from this deluxe EP. What does that mean? Like, what you moving into the next chapter, you think, just as you as a person growing or professionally?
Yeah, I'm definitely going through some changes personally. And so I recently a relationship ended for me. And so I think I'm definitely in the thick of that and in the thick of those feelings. And so I feel a lot of that chapter is going to be me processing all of that. But there's also a couple of songs that I have had for a little bit two songs in particular that I love so much. And I probably want to rework those a little bit. One is just kind of like a piano vocal demo that I have, that I wrote, in May of 2017. And it's truly like one of my favorite songs. It just has never been produced. So there's definitely a couple that are from the era that I wrote the Me and You EP, the songs of those EPs. But I don't know, I'm ready to write some new ones for sure.
Okay. So what I get from that is that you got the throwback feeling, but the current feeling. So I'm feeling like Olivia Rodrigo, like we're getting some good for you songs,
You know what? It's so funny you say that. It's like going through a breakup. For me personally, music is, for a lot of people, this isn't unique, but music is, I do this thing.
Wild practice, I learned.
Crazy. But obviously when you're like going through stuff, like sometimes just putting on songs and music, for me is a lifesaver, right? Mm-hmm. But man, I find in my specific circumstance right now with this breakup, like it's no one's fault. No one's really a villain in the situation, which is kind of, I'm feeling like the worst type of breakup because you almost, there's something that's I don't know
unfinished or like no conclusion really, like I kind of feel that like there's just
when you have that you have so much energy kind of built in you because it's quite sad, And when you're mad at someone because they did something wrong, as horrible as I can imagine that can be, at least you can put that energy towards a feeling like anger that almost feels better to have in your veins rather than just like profound sadness. So for me, I keep it's really hard actually to find breakup songs that I'm feeling I can resonate with currently in my state. Like absolutely obsessed with the new Olivia album. I think she's so talented. I think it's so good. But a lot of those songs, right, are so, breakingly frustrated at, her past relationship. And I don't know, for me, I'm just like, I think I'm going to be writing a kind of a different type of breakup song, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting though. No, I've been through that too. And you're right. There is no song for that when it's like mutual, I guess, in a way, but it still hurts and you want to be mad at somebody, but you can't, deep down you can't. So
it's like just pain, just absolutely
just pain. That's all we got. No, we'll go away from the pain. The You Deluxe EP, I love what you did with this. For someone who wouldn't know how you kind of evolved that album and made it a little different, what kind of project and direction did you go in it?
Okay. Well, let me tell you.
Break it down.
Basically, the You EP is a continuation of the Me EP, right? So I released my first EP a few years ago. I think it is a few years ago. I was going to say last year. It was 2019.
We'll go with that.
And I really had a bunch still. I had a bunch of songs that I felt like still connected with the stories I told in the Me EP. So I really wanted to continue that story. And I kind of became fascinated with this idea, right, that there's two sides to every story. There's kind of two sides to every relationship. There's different perspectives, right? What's the kind of famous saying, like, there's your side, my side of the truth. And so I think that to me was a little bit where the thesis of the You EP was born. And when I released it in October, I wasn't done with it yet. I was like, I still kind of wanted to explore that theme and explore that concept. And so I thought it could be really awesome to actually get other artists and have them do their own version of the truth and the story and the songs, right? So I got all these incredible, awesome artists, from John Doe to Alex TVH to Mark Diamond to Pluto, Poleos, all of these people, and have them kind of just run with these songs and do their own, whatever version that they wanted to. So you have someone like Mark Diamond, who completely changed the original song When You Wake Up, right? This is kind of, the original is this moody pop, Banksy-esque kind of song. And he changed it into this really folk acoustic vibe. And we changed the lyrics and the perspective in that way. Then you have Honest With You, Alex TVH. The song's quite like the original, but just even talking to Alex about the concept, he thought the song was about a breakup and wanting to start a new relationship because you're thinking about a breakup. I originally wrote that song as wanting to take the next step in your current relationship with someone. So even that was really fun, of having a different perspective on the already existing lyrics. Yeah. So from that came this Deluxe You EP. So the Deluxe You EP has the 6 new remix duet versions plus the 7 original songs. So I keep laughing calling it an EP, but it has 13 songs on it. So
right. It sounds like this whole marathon, but it's
EP.
Yeah. Well, I got 2 things on that I want to ask before I forget. First of all, Honest With You, I'll play that later. Or actually, we'll do it tomorrow for Friday, the big day. I want to play Honest With You. Did you shoot that music video on iPhones? That's it?
Yes, we shot it.
I love that.
It was really hard. And he shot in Malaysia and I shot in LA.
Wow. And that's how you do it. And, it looked so good. I mean, iPhones, you should get an endorsement deal for that. And 2, you did a great job to where it's
I actually have a flip phone.
No, you don't.
I swear I do.
You have it on you right now?
I do. Hold on. Let me grab it really
Please go get it. I want to see it. I hope it's a Razor. I hope it's the early 2000s flip phone. This is amazing.
I think it's time to, I think I might be ready. This is big news, by the way, for my fans, not for anyone else who is not a niche fan of mine, but I think I might be ready to get an iPhone.
Wow.
This is huge.
You had to borrow an iPhone for the music video? Oh my God. How do you text on that thing?
Well, not successfully not because I can't text, but because my storage fills up really easily. So
Dude, kudos to you. That is incredible. You got to be one of the last to have a flip phone. Incredible. What a detour there. Second question before I forget on that song. You talked about how you interpret it so different, like how you thought it was a breakup song. You thought it was like, taking the next step. Do you see that a lot with your songs? Because one of my favorite ones is Something to Believe In. And I think I related to that more like during the pandemic, which is weird because you didn't write it about that.
Yes, but yes, Brew, I did not write about the pandemic at all. And I resonated with it way more this year or 2020 than I did when I wrote it. I wrote it in 2014 or 2015.
Isn't that wild?
But I completely reworked it. I mean, but all the lyrics and the melodies are the same. Mm-hmm. How weird, this isn't really kind of a typical situation, right? As an artist or a writer, you write songs and then, you listen to it like a year later and you're like, oh, I was in such a different place then. No, that song, I was like, oh my God, I'm in this place currently. I feel like I wasn't in this place 4 or 5 years ago. So that one I really resonated with way more this year. And I thought that was a really kind of special, I don't know, it's really special.
It is. That's the power of music. It's incredible. And you do so much with music and obviously you're producing, you're making movies. Do you think that helps with your perspective on things, like to be, I guess, creative or to just help you create? Like, I've seen this while I was producing a movie. Let me incorporate that into a song or like vice versa ever.
I think it can be and it cannot be, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of a little both. I think what I always love to do is see if any of the music I have or I'm working on can be incorporated or work with any of the acting visual stuff that I'm doing as well. So, that sometimes can be really fun for me of like, oh my God, this song that I have could be really perfect for this moment in this movie and blah, 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 or this like movie in general. But I feel like when it comes to actually being on set and being inspired writing wise, sometimes I can be, other times I feel like I'm so in the zone of like, not to talk about myself in third person, but actress Laura, that it's a little bit, I will say I did get a couple ideas when I was working on this last movie. But those ideas almost came from like nowhere, of like, I was like in the shower, I was like on break or back in my place that I was staying in. And I was just kind of singing aimless to myself and came up with an idea rather than like, oh, I was specifically inspired by something there. They're definitely two creative processes. They're two different jobs. I love both, but they awaken different parts of me when I'm doing one or the other.
Mm-hmm. And on that same like note with that, it can be a positive and a negative. You work so much with your family and everyone says like never work with family and you do it all the time. What's some of the perks, some of the negatives of it?
Oh man. It's a whole complicated, complicated situation. Yeah. I think what is really special is I think that overall like connection that you have mentally and emotionally with your family that most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time our taste is quite similar. I feel like I said this earlier, and this is funny to say in an interview, but I feel like I'm actually terrible at explaining things. I ramble, I talk a lot. And so when I'm trying to explain a creative idea that I have in regards to producing a movie or whatever, I feel like I can do my rambling situation and my mom and sister can actually pick up what I'm actually saying.
Okay. So it's like a translator, for your thoughts.
A little bit. But then there's, yes, of course, times where we want to all punch each other in the face. We're really close. Like for this movie, we had to quarantine to get to New Zealand. And, we got asked by Netflix if we could all quarantine for 2 weeks in the same hotel room, the three of us. And we were like,
please no. Please,
sorry,
God.
No, we cannot do it. Like that is, if you want to have a successful shoot, let's not start with that happening. So, I think the hardest thing and the most important thing is kind of establishing those boundaries. We have a lot of different relationships with each other. We're family, but we're also producing partners. So making sure we can like wear the different hats and actively be aware of that is kind of key.
Absolutely. Gosh, well, I feel like I could talk to you all day about this stuff, but I'm sure you got business to get to. You got an album to promote. So let's do that again before we wrap up this Audacy check-in. It's the You Deluxe EP out Friday, July 25th, which is, you're right. Where's 2021 going? I know, yes, it's wild. Can you believe it's?
I cannot believe it. It's so freaking exciting. It's crazy.
How fast is this year going too? It's going to be, your Christmas album's going to be coming out soon too. It's like, what's happening? And then what else? I mean, you got the movies. You're working with, I love this actor from Aladdin who's in that new movie with you.
Yes, Mina. I love him so much. He's so wonderful. I'm so excited for everyone to see this movie. We are not done yet with it. We're still working on it, but I'm excited. What
else? We got your juggling career. You got this. We got
yes, I have, I'm a big juggler.
Going on tour.
I've become a clown recently. I'm going to space.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. With Jeff Bezos, with our new company we're inventing.
Exactly. We're inventing a company. I've become a car salesman. I mean, I'm doing it all.
I was thinking about it since we've been talking. I think is how our business is going to be how we reinvent the flip phone and make it big again. So write it down.
I feel like there's something here, though. I think AT&T, this isn't the first time this is happening and they're sending me a new phone, but AT&T is getting rid of their 3G devices. I was in this situation before because I had a 2G flip phone and they got rid of 2G. So they're getting rid of 3G. So I'm getting a new flip phone because of that. And I think it just might be time to get an iPhone because I have to manually put my contacts from one to the other. It's a whole
takes a whole day.
It takes days.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, I will call you on the flip phone. We'll definitely have to link up some time and I can't wait to meet you in person and see all the fun things you got planned this year. But thank you so much for hanging out for a little bit today.
Thank you so much. I love the whole Audacy family so much. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
By the way, first Audacy check-in for me. I think we killed it. I think we did it. We didn't burn the place down. Awesome.
I'm very excited. I'm very honored.
All right, Laura. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again so much.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.